that's gonna work. Anyway, it is what it is.
Hey, yeah, I think we're definitely
Are we live?
definitely live, at least according to my screen.
Oh, good, because mine is still doing the whole slow-mo thing. But with that, because I'm having some challenges, I'm just gonna make it do what it does. So right. Good morning. It's still a little bit left. We're about 8:30, probably a little later than what I would like, but it's good to see you again.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while, so we're back, and I felt like, you know what, I've been getting hit with the question that, you know, are we in a bubble? This bubble's gonna pop. What's going on with that? Why, you know, I mean, let me go ahead and sell my house and let's cash out. And is now a good time to, take advantage, because we don't want to get caught like we did back in 2007, 2008. At least that's what I've been hearing. How about you? You heard any conversation like that in the marketplace?
I certainly have, but I think we have to be very careful in terminology, right?
Right.
Like we would like to say a bubble, and typically if something is a bubble, if you think about a bubble, just the slightest thing is going to make it pop.
Correct.
Right? Slightest thing, pop. That's why I guess they call it a
bubble.
A bubble. I don't think we're quite there. There's just not the circumstances to create a true bubble right now.
I agree.
Right. So that part, I have to say, I've been hearing it, but I am in total disagreement. And then I think what I wanted to share with part two, I am in agreement though with some of the sellers that, hey, you do need to strike while the iron is hot. Like this.
Exactly.
This is a perfect time. Like I just bought a home. I've only been there now, I guess, about 7 months. But I'm almost like, dang, maybe I should have waited to sell and buy. But no, I'm glad I didn't, because it might have been harder to complete the buy side. But yeah, if I'm a homeowner and I even remotely think I want to sell my home, I'm like, yeah, absolutely do it now.
Do it now. Strike while the iron is hot, because and I had some stats, but as I mentioned before this morning, my everything is just a little nutty right now. Again, trying to navigate, but nonetheless, what did that wise person say? Imperfect actions. But nonetheless, it's great to have the conversation, because it really is. And I agree. The market is super hot. Especially, it's a very solid market for sellers right now. And, then we all know what's driving this demand. Obviously, is the lack of inventory, the buyer's demand, for housing, and of course, the low interest rates, pandemic, and then of course, the construction, all of that, there's just so many different moving parts here that is creating this market that we're in. One of the graphs I wanted to show was like back in 1999, it shows where there was about right before the bubble, right? The first so-called bubble. So we were at like about 4 million. 2007, there was about 4 million homes on the market, inventory, right?
Mm-hmm.
Today, it's 1.3 million.
Wow.
Exactly. So it really, what it is a buyer frenzy is where we are. It's like there's a buyer frenzy, right? And I know I may be looking away from the screen, but I've told you I got a situation here this morning, so I'm trying to look at it.
It's perfectly fine. So 4 million versus how many? 1.3 million. 1. Wow.
There are more realtors in this market than there are homes for sale. And,
good Lord.
And to bring this closer to home, so like I get a daily sheet, a hot sheet, I look and see what's hitting the market, what's coming new, right, for the area every day. Well, I didn't get one for Prince William today, but yesterday there were 10 new listings, right? Well, coming soon. Out of that 10, only 1 went active. So 9 coming soon for all of Prince William County, and 1 active, and 1 went active.
It might have been my next door neighbor. It looks like they went active, because
they did.
It was looking like I don't know what it was looking like outside my window. I was like, I need not be distracted, but it was car after car.
Absolutely.
Pulling up for like a period of time. I was like, geez.
Yeah, I had that same experience 2 weeks ago. They just lined up and then you let them in two by two. It's almost like when Noah built the ark, right? He brought the animals in two by two, but because of COVID, and especially when people are living in the house, and even for your own safety, you're only bringing people in, just enough at a time. And honestly, it really truly is a buyer frenzy. And according to the chief economist with NAR, Lawrence, what's his name? Lawrence Young. Anyway, he says that this is a healthy market. We're in a healthy market when you think of where it was before. It's not a bubble. It's an inventory issue. It's an inventory problem. And then we've got rising prices, which are, again, which is driven by the real buyer interest in the market. So interest rates, but see, the concern is, Marquita, is, they don't see this changing for a while, right? And if, at some point with this still going the way it does, let's just say, and I believe the guy, the Yen, I think it's Yun or Yen, he says that worst case scenario is if, prices continue to rise, right? And let's say the mortgage interest rates stay low, what's going to happen is, like you pointed out earlier about had you waited, you may be priced out of the market, irrespective of the low interest rates. The rising prices is, we're not going to have that. And then we'll end up with a have and have not situation. So if you guys, I know it's stressful for buyers, but, hang in there. You may not, and I tell all my buyers, you may not get most likely you won't get the first house you look at, and then, but don't give up if you really want to and can purchase in this market. Again, with the lack of inventory and such, but, and then of course we've got the millennials who now are having kids and they're outgrowing their space, and people are coming, they're moving out, trying to, get more space. So that brings them out of the whole urban area, right? So it brings them back, down here. So, you've got so many factors, really affecting this. And right now, I think we're looking at about locally, I believe, 7% increase in value. I mean, it's just incredible. So based on what the chief economist,
so is that 7% increase a year-over-year number? 7% appreciation in the
appreciation, correct, ma'am.
Wow.
The median list prices grew. Now this is national, like 17.2% since last year. Since last year, making it 34 consecutive months of double-digit increase.
Wow,
that's incredible. That's incredible. So
it absolutely is.
Because if you think about we were fortunate. We had a buyer that was able to jump right in. Like immediately, and everything was like perfect, worked out for her, where she was able to jump right in and snag a home right at her max, and because of the low mortgage interest rate, allowed her the opportunity to do that. So I say, buyers, look, if you're in there and you're contemplating, do it. I know it's frustrating and it's and all that, but working with the right team matters. And you got, of course, your agent for the people, and the Queen of Mortgages here, and we're here to help get you in the house and put together a strategy. But then, going back to the reality of it as well, which is a little nerving for a lot of buyers, and they're waiting, thinking that this so-called bubble is going to pop. Some of them, we had a buyer we've been working with since January. She decided to pause because she wasn't willing to jump in and do what it takes. And in a lot of cases, in most cases, if not all cases right now, buyers are giving up financing contingencies to include appraisal and home inspection contingencies. And that's just unfortunate. But the reality is, you want to get in, and take advantage of this, do it, because the values are not right now, according to the economist with NAR, Realtor.com, they're all saying that values are still going to continue to increase. And at some point, I believe it'll level out. But for now, you keep waiting and thinking a bubble's going to pop, you may get priced out, because where you may be approved for that 400 today, even with the interest rates say remaining where they are, next year that $400,000 house is going to be probably about 425, 450. And so
Well,
much
if
for
you
trying to,
stick with your 7% appreciation, then
yeah,
that 400,000 house is 428.
exactly.
And then you add in
The, the
any type
bidding,
of change in interest rates, then yes. So that is going to be probably our challenge more than anything, is just
yeah,
you have the pent up demand, you have the household formations that are not slowing down. So with
correct.
that in mind, buyers still will be, on the hunt.
Yeah.
I don't know that I can classify this as a healthy market. Healthy it's healthy depending on who you are in this
Well,
market.
that's
That's
true.
my opinion.
That's
Right.
true.
So it's healthy because homes and transactions are being done. It's healthy because I guess, the ball is in the seller's court, but this cannot, in my opinion, sustain as the new normal. If it does, it changes the entire landscape of buying a home and what that
Yeah.
really means for people moving in. It's not that you're not going to be able to do it, but you are going to have strategy. You are going to have plan. And the biggest thing that I think we've seen taken off the board is you have to have skin in the game now.
Gotta have
Right?
skin in the
And you
game.
have to have skin in the game. And part of the reason, just conversely with that, and then I'm going to jump off and get back over to the baseball game.
Yeah, let's do
Um,
that.
yeah, so I'm rocking my Woodbridge Little League today.
Team Devin, yes.
Yeah, so you have to have skin in the game. And part of the bubble that was created in 2008, the bubble that burst, buyers did not have skin in the game.
They did not have skin in the game.
Okay. We had escalating prices, very much like we have now, escalating prices.
Correct.
But buyers didn't have skin in the game. The mortgage credit availability was at an all-time high.
Yep.
To the point where the ability to pay was not being actually
right. It
taken into account. It was almost like if you were breathing, you could get a mortgage,
right? Completely
So
different market.
that's a different type of market, absolutely. So
Correct.
now you still have to have the ability to pay, but you also will have skin in the game. So there will not be the knee-jerk reaction of, okay, well, I'll just walk away.
Right.
And that's part one. And then part two, if you look at the numbers across the country, there is an abundance of equity. So even those that are affected by the pandemic, sorry about that, guys, phone rang. So even those affected by the pandemic who cannot work out a plan with their company coming out of forbearance for short sales, they will sell their homes. Okay,
and have
because
enough
they have the equity to do so.
Correct.
You did not have that. That's the biggest part that you didn't have in 2008. There was no equity. The houses were leveraged to the highest amount.
Yep.
Buyers got in loans with no down payment. Well, you create the perfect storm. Oh, and the lenders, we decided to stop lending. So guess what? We're actually going to continue to lend with products that make people show their ability to pay. But
Absolutely.
buyers now just need to know that the new normal is having skin in the game. Absolutely.
And yeah, right. You guys are not going to make things easier. They're still going to have to go through the, the process and such. But the key is if you are considering buying, take advantage while you can afford and ride out, the value increases. And so we know that, again, using you as an example, when you purchase, you now have equity in your home and it's only been a year, not even a year.
So yeah, it hasn't even quite been a year. So it
hasn't even been a year. But anyway, this is a conversation I think we can bring up again, maybe next week, continue it, and I'll have my graphics and stuff. Hopefully I'll use a different computer so I can show some of the little charts and graphs. But you get back out there to Team Devin.
All right.
You said he already hit one, right?
He's gotten on base twice and he scored a couple runs, just kind of stealing. So the game's probably coming to an end. Like I said, they might be mercy rule by now. They were winning 12-1 when I walked over here. So
hey, a win is a win. Well, win is a win. Well, that's what's up. Well, listen, thank you again. It's good to see you. Welcome back. Thank you. And let's continue the conversation.
Absolutely.
All right, sis. You have a great day, and I'll see you next time.
All right. See you.
Peace.